So, well, I think it's obvious that in the coming days, there'll be more conversations around the expected impacts. We know before now, we've been talking about some potential, possible impact of that increase in minimum wage, the thing about inflation, what it can do to that number. I know that, I mean, we're at the middle of this month, so most likely we got a bit of it, but more from August. That's the impact of this increase in the minimum wage at 70,000 naira. And these are the things that feed into the not so good indices, macroeconomic indices in the country. And that's why we see an increase in exit of talent from the country. The latest is coming from the Health Association. The Medical Association are saying that about 100 psychiatrists, doctors have left the country to practice abroad. We know that's not limited there. We've seen it happen in the banks. We feel it when we want to use the bank apps. They say a lot of the talent managing that have also gone to look for greener pastures abroad. And we did see the retaining of talent that came from Hanley and Partners, when Nigeria was the least among about 8 countries on the continent at 14%. So it seems like it's something should be done about it. We have to discuss that with us. Dr. Adekunle Badmus is the Chief Executive Officer of Goodmost Learning Center. Dr. Badmus, good afternoon and thank you for your time.
Excellent afternoon to you, my sister.
Great. So are we grasping, are we reducing this exit of our talent? I know it's about 2 years ago, it was really bad. I think it was also last year. Is it normalizing now?
Thank you. Basically, it's not normalizing. Everyone is still looking out for greener pasture over there. And the reason for this is that the environment in which we find ourselves. You see, when you compare the minimum wages that we get here to the minimum wages they get over there, and people see that when people go out over there, they're able to have some certain ability to mob up some funds, for a startup. People now see that, okay, apart from the working system is the fact that they could earn something meaningful. They could earn something meaningful. And if you look at most companies, most entrepreneurs, you see that most of the people that purchase from them, the real estate company, they are all from the diaspora. The largest number of people come from the diaspora because of the exchange rate. You understand? They are able to, if you're getting $2,000 a month, for instance, that means you're getting about 3 million naira.
Yeah, but you're not spending naira there. But I also want us to talk about this issue of, is it really greener on the other side, or is it perceived to be greener on the other side? Because the level of taxes paid by individuals in the United States, the UK especially, some stories from migrants at this time, they're not really finding it easy. Yeah. So I mean, is it really easier on the other side, or is it just the perception?
It's just the perception. It's not actually greener, because I represent Nigeria in Nigeria and Nigerian diaspora because I live abroad too. So, and I know that you have to do the right thing. You have to pay your tax in time. You have to pay your bills on time. Despite the fact that you have all of these things in place, all the time, your lights doesn't blink, everything doesn't, but if you default in payment, it will be interrupted. So people work abroad and they do the right thing. I believe what we're faced with is kind of a mindset issue here. You understand? Because when you say they get the money there, they actually put the right work in. So it's actually the mindset. So I see that the developed country did not just develop. They develop as a result of developed mindset. It's actually people sitting down, looking at things that they could do to make their country what it is. And that is what they have made out of their country. So we need to sit back. We need to start what I call a mind surgery global in Nigeria. You understand? In our country, we need to start thinking about, we need to start teaching something like creative thinking. paying attention to details, developing great memory, flexibility, and speed. And
who's going to do all of this?
We, just like our former national anthem says, arise, O compatriots.
Now former,
yes. Nigeria is calling. It's a nation call for every individual. That is, whether you come from any tribe, we all need to stand up on this. It's
Perhaps
not about
the National Orientation Agency could take that, because you actually do need someone to drive it if there's something that has to be done.
Basically, for me, being a United Nations diplomat on government bilateral agreement, I let people understand some certain things. That there is a deep gully, in this government bilateral agreement thing. Anytime you see an embassy in our country, it connotes, as at the time the embassy was established, the number one man in our country and the number one man in the other country agreed on behalf of who? You and I. But the sad news is that you and I know little or nothing as to how to harness the opportunity therein. You understand? Now, the government bilateral agreement industry alone is rated over $500 trillion industry that every woman being can tap into education, into oil and gas, into different sectors, journalism, media, and all of that. There could be some sort of exchange. You understand? Some Nigerians did not know that there are opportunity for them, sequel to the fact that the government has already signed this government bilateral agreement. Though we have agencies that is supposed to create the awareness, do all of these things, but so far so good.
You're saying this as an alternative to people leaving the country. They can actually stay in the country and get some of these benefits.
Of course. Let me tell you this. For instance, people can actually stay in this country and get this education they want to get abroad by doing it online. People can actually stay in this country and look inward. Another oil block for us is export. People can actually do some sort of export. We have some local things that some people need abroad. They need for manufacturing, they need for a lot of things.
But you have to be able to meet up with the requirement before your products can be allowed to exist.
That is what we call accurate knowledge. In anything you want to do, you need basically three things. You need accurate knowledge, you need accurate information, you need accurate connection to be able to do them. Now, if most likely people are ignorant because they don't know what's available to them. You understand? So there are some certain information that is available to the people that people can actually harness the opportunity that they know little or nothing as to how to do that. So, and that is why information needs to be coming out. Like recently, there was a launch of the global clusters where people, technocrats, professionals, and entrepreneurs meet. 5 days after, the federal government announced through the VP that they are coming up with youth enterprise clusters. You understand? And they are ready to spend 110 billion naira into that. Youth enterprise clusters connote youth. You understand? So anytime the government is saying something, people need to move. Because if you did not move, you won't be able to harness the opportunity.
But don't you think that perhaps people don't even pay attention anymore because of the loss of trust? We've heard a lot of beautiful programs and policies, and yet if you speak to people, for instance, the distribution of food, sometimes even as a journalist, you try to get where are the people who are getting this food, and sometimes it's so difficult to get. So over time, people have lost trust in the government. So even when you hear beautiful announcements and policies and initiatives, people don't make the move, or when they make the move, they get frustrated, and so they get back into their shell.
Remember, this is our country. This country does not belong to just one person. It belongs to all of us. We are all stakeholders, and we all need to take responsibility. The growth and any good thing that will happen to this country, it is all of us that needs to stand on our feet and say, I want to make this happen. And we all have our own little contribution that to add to what is currently happening into this country. Let me tell you, the case of Nigeria is like an idiomatic expression, going into a market of 100, where you must sell the 100, or you must sell in 100, but you have about one that is bad. You understand? But you cannot sell until you have 100. Now, if you go into that market, you can only sell 100. What will you do? Everybody has to think. You have to separate. First of all, if you leave that one bad one, it will spoil the rest. So you have to separate first. When you separate, then you can now do something. And that is what I have done as a person. I live in the Republic of Turkey, and I've been looking into how we can actually harness most of this opportunity. And I've been advocating for individual like you, individual like me, and my other friends that said, see, we can't leave this to the government alone. We all need to look at, okay, the information I have, I'm sharing it. I'm telling you that, do you know that as a teacher, you can actually stay in the comfort of your home and teach someone in India and get fund in. You can only actually take some UK diploma course, because the minimum certificate you need to actually get a job abroad is diploma. And this is not an era of certificate anymore. We're in the new normal, where what is happening now is about certificates. Do you understand? It's not about what can you do and what skill do you have, what knowledge you have, and you display it and people hire you. And COVID came and opened our eyes to the fact that people could work remotely and people could be interviewed from the comfort of their home and all of that. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say in a nutshell is that people need to understand that we can't leave this to the government alone. The countries that are working, everyone stand up and do something. You understand? There are industry, there are technocrats, there are entrepreneurs and professionals that actually stood up to make the country work. And they actually contribute their own culture from the business they do, and they set out something to actually, do their CSR and all of that. So that is why we need to come up with initiatives like rewarding those that are building the nation, teachers. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Doing them well. Teachers has made you, has made me, made the governor, made the president, made everybody. There is something they need to look at. You understand? These are the people that are building the nation. Parenting, coming up with things that can actually, in every community, where everyone will look at everyone same. And, in every society, you have the high end, you have a bit below middle class, the middle class, the low end, and the no class. So people should be able to adopt each other and, mentor each other. There should be some sort of mentorship. You understand?
All right, so Dr. Barnos, I think what I hear you say is, let's look inwards.
Yes.
Let's not be quick to just leave the country.
Yes.
And because,
And actually, this country is the best place for you to actually grow faster, because it's still developing. You understand? You have a lot of things you can actually look into, and, into agriculture. We don't have enough food. Up to now, we still import sausage. You understand? So we have a lot of things to do, and we all need to look inward, and every industry. And I want to advise the federal government, please support every company that is doing well. If a particular company is doing well and has hired maybe over 500 staff or 200 staff, if that company has a boost from the government, they are going to hire more.
I guess that's where the the relief for small businesses, part of the tax reform.
I believe people are getting it. If they are getting it, good. But if they are not getting it, everyone should just know that we all need to just keep doing something positive to this country. Something positive is like a black water in a club, in a cup, and you keep pouring the white one into it, it will soon turn to the white. So everyone should just keep being positive about the country and keep adding positive vibes into the country. All
right, thank you so much for that message of hope. Dr. Adekunle Badmus, yes, Chief Executive Officer of Good Muscle Learning Center. Yes. We do hope your message goes well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a break. When we come back from that break, we head to the markets and then other parts of the program. This is Business Incorporated on Channels Television.